Hello and welcome to the President's Podcast. My name is Kirby Mallon. I'm your president here at CFESA, and with me today is Tina Reese. She is the president of Commercial Appliance Parts and Service based out of Tampa, Florida. Also a family-run, CFESA certified company. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I'm glad to have you. I like your background. It's very
It's very
professional
red.
looking over there.
It's my favorite color. Plus, it's the color of our brand. Commercials always had red and black, so
Yeah,
I got a
good.
red wall for fire.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining me today. The theme of our podcasts this series is to get to know our fellow CFESA members, and we're highlighting CFESA certified companies at this point in time. So, at first, I want the audience to get to know who Tina is.
Okay.
I know who Tina is. People that have been in the industry for some time know who you are, but a lot of these new members of CFESA have probably no idea who Tina Reese is. So um, I'll start out with asking a question, Tina. Um, where were you born?
Well, I'm born in the same area that I live in. I was born in Tampa, Florida.
How about that? And then
Mhm.
where were you? Where did you grow up? Where did you spend your childhood years?
I spent all of my childhood years here in Tampa, and then vacations were over at the beach on the Gulf Coast.
Nice, nice. I was just at Naples for the first time in my life, and I fell in love. I fell in love with that little area right there. So I never said that I would move to Florida, but that might be on one of
It
our lists.
changed your mind a little. Well, you got to come visit me because you may like the Gulf Coast too.
I'll do that. I'll do that. So you're current living in Tampa, is that correct?
I'm currently living at Indian Rocks Beach. I live on the beach.
Excellent, excellent. So Tina, what was your first job?
My very first job was a very small stint at a dry cleaners. And then right after that, it was only for a month in the summer. After that, I worked in doctor's offices for a very long time.
Okay. So Tina, your better half, I'll say, John Pruccio. You guys are living in the Tampa area.
We are living in Indian Rocks Beach, so we live on the beach and enjoy all the fun about that. And we love it. We hate to come across the bridge, to be honest,
Hmm.
and you know that.
I do. I do. I'm right with you, living here at the beach. Interesting how all these years I've worked, thought I had to physically go to the office every day, and I guess COVID gave me the opportunity to realize that the executive team can run the company very well, and I can be the owner of the company. And it's interesting that has happened. So how did you get into this industry, Tina?
The company started in 1946, and my mother became an office manager at some point in her life and worked there for a while. Went to be a general manager, and then they decided to buy the business, my mother and my father. And so I kind of grew up around it, but had no interest in it, to be honest.
You and I are very similar. We both grew up in the family business. Um, Mine being Elmer Schultz Services. Elmer was my grandfather, so we grew up thinking that's not what I'm going to do, right?
And
um,
here we are.
yeah, well, here we are, and I don't regret a moment of it. I think it's a fantastic industry. I don't think people realize um, how interesting this industry is, and whether you're in manufacturing or rep groups or dealers or service. I think it's really a unique business and a unique industry, and I would recommend anybody who's listening um, to consider um, working for specifically a CFESA certified company. Tina, my first question about commercial appliances: what's your current title there?
My current title is vice president.
Okay, and you've worked there for a number of years, and I'm not going to ask how many. But I assume that you've done other jobs there. What other jobs have you done at Commercial Appliance?
Actually, I've started from the ground up. I didn't really want to come into the industry, as I stated before. I have five brothers and sisters, and each one of them, my parents asked each one of them to come in because I'm the baby, and And none of them wanted to come in. And then they asked me, and I said, "All right, I'll give it a try." And so I came in and I started from the ground up. I literally have worked every position there is in the service company, and enjoyed every one of them. I think it's foundationally what made me successful.
That's excellent. And I assume as you, yeah, the shipper was fired, you became the shipper. You kind of um, recreated that job, made it better. So moving from one position to another, you learned that job, but you also kind of fine tuned that job, didn't you?
I did. I would fine tune it, but I also it helped me to understand the integration and how one job affects another job, and I think that helped to round out commercial and be able to think in a bigger, broader picture.
Hmm. And your main office is in Tampa, is that correct?
It is.
And then you have a number of branch offices, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I have five.
Okay, around around all in Florida
Florida and Georgia.
and Georgia. Okay, excellent. And how many employees do you guys have now?
We have a post COVID. We have a total of about 65 employees right now.
Right. Yeah, I think that most CFESA companies kind of um, fine tune things during COVID,
Hmm.
and I guess time will tell, um, how it all shakes out. But during that period, did you try to reinvent yourselves? Did you kind of try to look at your processes um, and and position yourself to be a better company when you came out of COVID?
Absolutely. The time, we being in Florida and Georgia actually only closed down for about 4 weeks. By government mandate. Other than that, we were open. We were essential employees. So during those 4 weeks, our technicians were on the road, but we quickly learned how to move a service company to work from home, which was, I got to say, IT and everyone. That was a big challenge, and we did it quickly. And we learned a lot from there. I think a lot of us learned how important it is to be together. um, it was great for the first month or two for
Hmm.
our staff to be at home working, but then also they missed the interaction and knowing kind of quickly what's happening in the service world of what's going on in real time. So it was a good growing experience for our employees and for ourselves because we had to step back and take a look at safety again. I think it put safety on the forefront, which is of our employees. So we all learned how to work a lot safer, how to really become team members and help each other out. So I think there was a lot of actually very positive things that came out of that time.
I agree 100%. It's I think a lot of companies can run remotely, but a service company, especially a CFESA certified company, where we strive for first call fix, same day service, 85% first call fixes. It's very difficult to do with people not all in the same spot. And we 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 also kind of moved some executive people working from home, but the majority we just kind of expanded our spaces and had most people still working at the main office.
Hmm.
But it's interesting how it all kind of panned out. It's amazing that it's been so long, and we're just kind of getting back to normal. um, so let me pivot at that point in time, Tina, and talk about CFESA. So you've been a longtime supporter of CFESA. I think when you and I kind of came into the business, probably around the same time, if I had to guess. But what was your first involvement with CFESA?
Well, my very first involvement, my mother was very active. She had been on the executive board for a while, so I kind of just coattailed her and my parents for a while. And I think that's actually when I met you and Bill Reedy and several group. We all came up in the industry together.
Yeah,
And it was my first true experience of a professional organization that's there to help an industry. So I was pretty impressed with it. I would say I enjoyed going to the conferences because it was a new place, meeting new people, exchanging new ideas. But my very first experience actually working with CFESA was I showed up and I was happened to be walking by, and I was quickly volunteered to put up the booth at the CFESA convention, and it was a NAFM convention. So, not being technical in the sense of really technical, it was quite a learning experience. But man, I said yes, I can do it, even though I didn't have a clue of what I was doing, and I've been active ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, I would encourage all listeners that are CFESA members that don't really participate to get involved. I feel personally that uh, I'm a stronger person. My company's a stronger company because of my involvement with CFESA and being able to bounce things off my peers like you over the years. Hey Tina, what do you do about trucks? What do you are you buying where are you buying your tires from? I mean everything, insurance. There's so many factors that go into fixing ovens. People don't realize how involved it is. Were you involved with committees early
I
on?
was. And I jumped in immediately because I tend to be kind of a front row person in general. If I'm gonna take the time on something, I'm gonna dive in on everything. And so I started off right away in a committee. I want to say I started off in the membership committee, and then I quickly moved to my passion is both training and marketing. Those are the two committees that I spent the most time on, but I did dip my toes into every committee that there was. I just thought that was the only way to really learn about the industry. Like you said, another way to network and share ideas and not reinvent the wheel, you know. So that was it was a very big value to me to be part of CFESA.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we have CFESA has our annual conference. We also have regional meetings, which are excellent for smaller members,
Hmm.
and it's excellent for members in general, where they can bring 3 or 4 of their employees without having to put them on an airplane, put them in a hotel, and all that kind of stuff. In fact, some of the regional meetings are happening right now. It's an excellent source of information for within our industry.
I actually just attended the very first live CFESA conference here in Tampa, and it was great to be back together after 2 years because I have done regionals before. But it was a great venue. Casper's was it was great at hosting it, but there was a lot of great content. But the thing I like in the new world as of today is there was a CFESA Cares event. And I would highly encourage every region to do something like that, to give back to the community that they're having the regional in.
Hmm. It's 100% agree with you, Tina, that it's important to realize, especially now with what's going on in the world, that those of us who for the time being are well off, uh, whether it's financially or emotionally or physically or all the above, that we give back in some kind of way to our communities or to our industry. So thank you for mentioning that. Um, so uh, being on some of the committees kind of put you on a path to becoming a board member. Is that right, Tina?
Right.
At one point, did you become a board member? Because I'm not quite sure of that.
Um, it was probably a couple years after I had joined CFESA. There were director position of interested, and I was asked, what what my passion was, how involved I really wanted to be, and at that point, then I was asked if I would like to run as a board of director, and I did.
Tina, so at some point you became the president of FESA. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, I kind of moved my way up the board. I was probably on the board. My Cefesa board career was probably about 10 years, but I went from being director and first committee chairs. You know, that's the one
Hmm.
thing I did for a while was committee chairs, director, and then moved into the secretary position for a while. And I got to tell you, one of the great mentors was Roger Kaufman. He was very accessible, very funny, and very involved in the industry. So he was the president before me, and I was his vice president at the time. And then I moved into the presidency. And after the presidency, Jean Choquette was my vice president that moved into the presidency.
Okay, And that's fantastic. That was you were president in 2004 through 2006, and as you said, so you were the immediate past president for Jean Chouquet.
Right.
So, being on the board for so long, what do you think being such an active member of CFESA and being on the board has taught you over the years, as far as our industry is concerned?
Well, there's a lot it's taught me. Actually, on a personal level, it taught me how to think big, broad, and for the greater good versus for my own independent company. Um, it taught me to speak up and to share ideas and to be open. We always worry about, and it's funny in the world I came from, right? And now the world's different because we have so many competitors who are also our partners and all that. And so that was something I learned throughout my career as being on the board of CFESA is that you can learn from everybody and you can share with everybody to make our industry as a whole better.
I agree 100%, and I get back to my earlier point that this industry is very unique in that fashion. I've even been to, as you probably have, the other families associations conferences, and they don't share information like we do.
Mhm.
And I've grown up in this industry where direct competitors will talk to me and tell me, how they handle certain things, and I've always felt that that is incredible, and it's a great feeling to be able to talk to your peers, get to know each other, and run successful businesses as you do, Tina. So you were on the board for a long time. I'm obviously the president. I've been on the board for about 10 years also. Any funny stories you would like to share with us that happened when you were on the board or traveling with the board?
Oh, there were a lot of funny. There were a lot of funny, and there were a lot of great. It usually was the winter or the summer board meetings where we would just get behind closed doors and all, and we could all just let our hair down and be honest. And so there's no stories that I want to tell on podcasts, but there were a lot of great times.
Yeah, good thing they didn't have iPhones back then, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good thing there wasn't Facebook and stuff too.
Yeah. So,
No, a lot of great. There was just a lot of great times, and you know what, and I think that was at the beginning when they were doing strategic planning, and that was a new thing at those meetings, and also being able to just it was a think tank, and so it wasn't so formal. You could really get in there and dive into what was going on in the industry and how to move FESA up.
that's excellent. We're getting towards the 20-minute mark already. Couple other quick questions here. Now, this is a difficult one. Um, or maybe. What do you think the industry's biggest challenges are going to be in the coming months or years?
Um, I know what it is. It's cultivating a new culture with the teammates that we're going to be hiring. We are used to longevity in a career path, and the new world is a little different than that. I think there's a common thing that says a college student will have 19 jobs, and so I think that's the way the world is. And for me, as I even look at resumes now, immediately it was, oh, this guy changes jobs every 2 years. And I believe the new way of getting people in and cultivating them and growing them into the next leadership is probably going to be a challenge for some of us. It's doable, and we're going to have to do it, and it's going to change the world. But I think for me, seeing that is what's one of the biggest changes.
I agree 100%. I'll share with you that I was at the MAFC conference as well as the NAFM conference recently, and that was a common theme. And someone said, "We always say, what's wrong with the millennials, or what's wrong with the newest generation?" And I think it's the opposite question. It's what's wrong with us. We're the generation that's been around for a while, and um, what's us what is us to say there's something wrong with them, and it's different way how they work, and different how they think, and their way might be the way to go. They want to balance life and work, and you and I were growing up in such a fashion that it's work, 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 and not as much a balance of family, and I think we've learned that over the years that is a very important. And millennials these days, they're smart, and and we should listen to them. We should really understand them and listen to them. And obviously, we're going to be hiring the next generation. So I agree that that's going to be a challenge. Um, and I used to do the same thing. I look at a resume and do the same thing. And now I look at a resume in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple quick fire questions for you. I hope I don't catch you off guard here. Wine, red or white?
Red.
Pizza, red or white?
Red.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I would say not treating everyone as equals. There's a bigger way to say that, but all of us are together and we're all in the same ship. And I believe we all need to be treated with respect. And when I see that not happening, it infuriates me.
Excellent answer. One final question for our audience is if you could have lunch with anyone, that being that person alive or past, who would that be and why?
Well, that would be Keegan Reese, who is my grandson, who passed when he was 2, and I would love one more day with him, and I would
Uh,
love the simplicity of a child. So,
Thank you for that, Tina,
mhm.
and thank you for your time today. I really appreciate the time you had spent, and I'm glad our audience finally gets to know who Tina Reese is. You've been a tremendous supporter of CFESA for many, many years, and I thank you for your support. I thank you for your commitment to CFESA, and I hope you have a great day and a great weekend.
Wow, great. Thank you, Kirby. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tina.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.